All right, back again, and this time I want to talk just briefly about the MI Spirit and just some of the key components I think that help us orient to that guided style and things to keep in mind whenever we are working with our clients and how we can be more effective. So, also, I would say all four of these elements really help us to not engage in that backfire effect. Clients who see these four elements from us are going to be far less likely to have that backfire effect when working with us, and that's going to lead to better health outcomes as well. I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and click here because actually I kind of like just using this page as kind of the other part of it, and you'll see the same style and spirit that you saw on that other landing page. So there's four pretty critical elements when we think about being able to develop that right way to orient our sessions or our meetings with our clients. The first thing is knowing that we have to establish a partnership. Now, how I like to establish a partnership was always telling my clients there's two experts in this room. I was the expert in therapy. I was expert in cognitive behavioral therapy, all these books that are kind of behind me about different styles of therapy. That was my expertise. Also, my expertise was if people were motivated to make changes in their life, I had some expertise about what people could do, how people could navigate that. That was my expertise. You going to college right now are developing your level of expertise about your field that you're going to be able to help your clients with moving forward in the future. That being said, your client in this partnership has a very important expertise as well. They are the experts on their own lives, and never forget that. Also, you're not the experts on their lives. Keep that in mind. That expertise is going to be necessary for us to know what's going to work, what's not going to work, what have you tried before in the past, what has worked well or kind of worked, what we need to adapt. Where does this have you in your life? What are the risk and protective factors for you being able to accomplish these goals in your life? All these things are so important. Also, just keep in mind with this part of it too, MI is done for a person and with a person. It's not done to or on a person. We're not just like getting a person with MI. This is done for a person's benefit, not done to a person. Also, there's that, MIs that we know that they are the undisputed experts on themselves. And then also just making sure that we need to let go of that idea that we may have all the right answers. So many times our clients are going to hear what we have to say. We're going to give them those options like I talked about in the last video and give them a menu. And you know what they might find out instead? They might have a fourth route, the fourth idea that may be superior to any of the ideas we came up with that absolutely still fits to the goal that they want to get to. This is part of that partnership. Somebody actively engaged in the process, problem solving, and being able to develop that as part of that is wonderful. Outside of that, acceptance. I won't get too far into everything in too much detail. Acceptance is such a huge part of MI. If there's probably any of the four that are the biggest parts, acceptance is a big part of this. And this is just that we are going to accept this person for who they are, what they're doing, and what they decide to do with their lives. Biggest part about this is, and I know it's just right down here, but the big four here is that this person has absolute worth and potential as a human being. So many people come in and they have been beat down by a few systems before in the past, or they've been directed by people, been shoved into making decisions or pressured into making decisions. We really want to show that this person has absolute worth in life. They also have autonomy. They can make whatever decision they want to in their lives. If just going back to that steering analogy, if they want to continue steering straight, even though I say maybe take a right up here or right up here would be a benefit to you, they have the autonomy to make the decision they want to do. And mind you, if you notice this doesn't have an age limit. It's not like once they get to 15 or 18, they have autonomy. This is very important even when working with younger clientele. If you did not respect the autonomy of a lot of my younger clientele, they were going to do a lot of things to show you they had autonomy at that time, and usually most of them weren't going to be good. So making sure to know that everybody has that right to make whatever decision they want to is critically important in motivational interviewing. Also, having empathy. not sympathy for a person, but having accurate empathy and understanding that person's perspective is so important. People don't need you to feel bad for them. That's sympathy. And some people maybe are going to want that part of it, but that's not really MI. MI is coming alongside the person and saying, help me understand your viewpoint and where things are at. And if something's frustrating, I'm going to send back a reflection that says, wow, that sounds really frustrating. That has you really frustrated about X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm going to come alongside so that that person by the end of my meeting says, maybe we didn't get all the answers, but Will understands me. That's a huge part to making sure we are accurate with our empathy. And we'd like to hear people say, yes, you got it right. But if people say, no, that's not quite right, allow them to correct that, clarify that. What did I miss that way? That's accurate empathy. Isn't always getting it right the first time, but being able to continue to work with a person is just a huge part to this. And then I know I've hit this before just a little bit, but affirmations affirm the person. Again, we're not a cheerleader, but affirming a person for the work they're putting in, what they've done so far. Maybe they've been putting in this much work and gotten this much results so far, and they're just frustrated about that part of it. Affirming a person for that effort, affirming a person for what they're trying to do, I think is so critically important on this. If you want to talk about the best way to develop rapport with your client, no matter what the field is, giving that person affirmations is a great way to do it. And don't affirm them for breathing. All right, like make sure we can find good affirmations for the person. So outside of that, too, other parts of this, compassion. This is one of the things I think that separates us from a lot of other fields. We do this because we care about people. That's probably why you're doing what you're doing in the field that you're doing this in, whether you're a therapist or working to go more in the medical field or speech pathology or something along those lines. Whatever it is, you're doing this because you care about people. You don't get a bonus because people make changes in their life. I never got a bonus because John got less depressed. That never happened. I helped John with his depression because I wanted him to get to a better place, because I cared about John. I care about people. That's a critically important part to this, and helping people realize that this is being done out of compassion, and reminding yourself this is being done out of compassion, I think is great for the provider and helps you kind of orient to what you're trying to do. Last but not least, and again, I know we say this quite a bit, but evocation is a very big part to motivational interviewing and the MI spirit. Evoking from that person why they would want to make the change. I may have all the reasons in the world why I think you should make the change. I'm going to put those in my pocket. I'm going to try to hear from that person why they think it would be important for them to make the change in their life. The vast majority of people who decided to make changes in my sessions, the reason why they decided to make those changes did not come from the brilliance of what I said to them. The vast majority of the time, the reason why they decided to make changes in their life was because of what they decided was important to them. And then they decided that sufficiently motivated them to make the changes towards whatever that target behavior was. So making sure to just rely on that part of it. And the biggest part about this is trusting that people have that wisdom inside themselves. And I think that can be really hard, especially if you see somebody who's kind of resistant to begin with. But that's such a critically important part when really trying to do the MI Spirit correctly, is trusting, even though I maybe am not seeing it right away, that that person has that wisdom, that person has that ability, they have that intelligence, no matter what their age is, to be able to make those decisions for themselves, and making those decisions when, where, and why they want to, I think is so critically important. So, I like showing good examples sometimes. I like showing bad examples sometimes as well. Here's a bad example, and I don't know how everybody in my crowd feels about Dr. Phil, but we just talked about the MI Spirit. What I would welcome you to do is I'm going to show you a video, and what I'd like to do is just have you see what you think about how Dr. Phil would get graded on any of these four elements of motivational interviewing. Spoiler alert, it's probably not going to be great, but I think it gives you a good example of what can happen when working with a client, whether it be a therapy client or whatever it is. It's a good example of what can happen when you try this type of approach instead of the MI spirit and just watch what happens and the discord that gets created between Dr. Phil and his client. Also, keep in mind that backfire effect thing we were just talking about as well. So, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next video.
What are you so afraid of?
I'm not afraid of anything. If anything, chill out with all that. You just took it
You
way
won't
too
talk to
far.
me like that, Desi. I don't put up with your crap and you know
I
it.
just did. Congratulations. Would you like a cookie?
Really does. Really.
What are you so afraid of?
I didn't say I was afraid of anything. What? I didn't.
But you're behaving in a very fearful way.
Of?
I'm asking you what you're afraid of, because your attitude, your behavior is, I'm going to get them before they get me. Why are you so afraid that you're not going to be accepted?
I'm not.
Then why are you behaving this way?
I don't know because I am. Because that's just how I handle things.
Well, you have
because-
1,000 choices that you could choose, and you choose this one consistently, is to attack people verbally, alienate them, push them away, call them names, and distance yourself from them. That's not an accident that that's a pattern. So you're afraid of something. I'm just curious if you have any insight at all as to what it is.
No, I'm not afraid of anything. It's people tell me, take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. So then I take a deep breath. No, because then I'm even more mad because it doesn't do anything.
Okay. Well, I said there were two questions I wanted to ask you. Here's one of them. Do you understand what hierarchy is?
No, I don't know what that means.
Okay, and that's okay. Hierarchy means pecking order, that it's kind of like in the military, there's a general, and then there's a colonel, and then there's a captain, and then there's privates. You know, there's an order. You know, there's a pecking order. There's somebody in control, and then there's somebody that reports to that person, and somebody that reports to that person, and somebody that reports to that person. That's a hierarchy. That's what that means. And somebody has to be in control, and that's true in a family. Do you acknowledge that your mother is the head of this family?
No,
Okay, so if she's not the head of the family, are you the head of the family?
no.
So you don't recognize her authority as a parent.
Nobody's head of what you just said.
The family.
Yeah, no.
So you don't recognize her as a parent, her authority to direct you as a child in what you need to do and not do.
No, I do.
I'm sorry?
I do.
But you don't comply.
No.
Okay. And you understand, and I said how you answer these questions was going to be outcome determinative. You recognize that when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences.
Yeah.
That, you know, if you choose to steal something and get caught, you choose to go to jail. If you choose to speed and you get a ticket,
yeah.
you choose to pay the fine. You choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. And you're choosing behaviors that put you in conflict with authority on a regular basis. You don't acknowledge that the teachers are in charge of the class. You go up and down the hallways yelling and screaming, you know, teachers got chlamydia, disrupting class and all. You don't recognize the hierarchy at school.
I mean, like,
I'm sorry?
I do, but I don't
Okay.
because I choose not to.
You choose not to.
Yeah.
Okay, so, because that tells me you're unsocialized, and so you don't function in society.
Oh,
No, it does. It tells me that you're immature and you don't recognize the mores and folkways of society, the way the world works.
is that so?
Yeah.